Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Steemit. And that's at Sovereignty International. Don't forget to like this video. On YouTube, don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. On Steemit, don't forget to vote and make your comments. And I've also got some videos uploaded to BitChute. This is my front page of my YouTube channel. Notice the arrow is pointing at the bell, and the subscribe button's already been clicked. That's why it's checked. Normally it would be red. And when you click on that bell, that one there is not clicked because doesn't look like it's ringing. When you click on it, a pop-up comes up, and there's a box you have to check to be notified about uploads. This is Steemit. The left arrow is where you click to upvote an article. The middle arrow is how many votes it's got, and the right arrow is where you make comments. And this is Steemit again, and the arrow is pointing at Crypto Wallet. There's a hand there. When you move your mouse there and touch the profile name, this pop-up window comes down, and that's where you can follow or unfollow someone.
Years ago, and I'm sitting in jail, I'm like, shit, man. So the girl comes over and I was like, you, come here. So she comes over. I said, I'm going to appoint you as my trustee. This is what I need you to do. I need you to go into my cell phone, and I need you to text this person, this person, this person, and tell them that I'm here, and tell them to text each other, and get me out of here. She says, okay. She comes back, what's the password? I said, okay, here's the password, but you can only use it once, and after that you got to destroy it and never use it again, okay? Give her the password, I'm sitting there. So she comes back, okay, I texted them. Anything else? Yeah, go back and tell me what they said. So she comes back a couple minutes later. She says, okay, I texted them all the information, and this one said this one said that, this one said that. Now there's a sign that says no extra blankets, you can only have one. I said, okay, trustee, and now I need another blanket. She says, okay, runs and gets me a blanket. I said, I need some water. So she goes and gets the water. I said, okay, trustee, now I need you to let me out. She's like, I can't let you out. She goes, but it's really strange because you're in here on a default warrant, but you can be bailed out. She goes, I've never seen that before. I'm like, okay. So you still have the power to puppeteer them around and make them do your will. You know what I'm saying?
Even behind, even when you're
even
locked
sit in the
up.
can.
Okay.
Even sit in the can. Yeah. Yeah. God changes his mind one day. He says, you know what? I don't want to be in here anymore. Come here. I need you, trustee. Come here. Go get me the necessary papers that I need to discharge this obligation so I can go. Or get me the guy who I give those papers to do that, which is usually the clerk because they're the person entitled to it.
Just by accepting the CO's oath?
Maybe not so much a CO, maybe not. They also have in some jails, they have a treasurer's office. In one of the jails, they were calling it happy hour. But you can go to the treasurer's office twice a week, and if you ask the right questions, you can get your discharging documents, sign them over, which is your minimus, do a quick claim on it, give it back, see you later, have a nice life. Okay? People don't know it. Alright, so if one appears before any court in the interest of another and moves the court to action with the respect to any matter before it of a legal nature, such person appears as an advocate as generally understood. Okay, so these attorneys are showing up, they're appearing as advocates. Okay? You can also do the same thing. Alright? The phrase as an advocate in a representative capacity, I know you like this, Gage, as used in a statute regulating the practice of law implies representation distinct from that provided by an officer or other regular administrative corporate employee. Administrative corporate employee? Aren't they administrating your estate every day? Because you're dead, that's why. Anytime you see an administrator, it's because someone's dead. So when I got my decree, the clerk says, okay, you're all done with the courts. Bye. An attorney may not present arguments or maintain positions which are dishonorable or devoid of merit. Then what are they doing?
They do it all the time.
They do it all the time. Okay? You gotta hold your feet to the fire.
What that does, I think, is it gives the judge the right to presume that the argument has merit. You see what I'm saying? So the guy can be up there lying through his teeth, and because the courts have ruled that they're not supposed to be lying, you see what I'm saying? He presumes he's telling the truth.
He presumes because you haven't entered any evidence contrary
to the contrary.
That's why Mr. Rafferty needed a new pair of pants.
I've even had lawyers tell me to go in. I had prepaid legal. This is when I started learning about this stuff back in the 80s. And I had this prepaid legal. I was paying $16 a month for unlimited consultations with liars. So I get a speeding ticket and I'd call them up and they'd say, oh yeah, just make something up. Give them an excuse about what happened and why you were speeding and plea bargain the thing.
Right.
And after that, I just started making it up. Just tell them, feed them a story.
Right.
Oh yeah, this happened and this happened, and so I'll plead guilty to a lesser offense and no problem.
You plead guilty to a lesser offense.
That's right.
But yeah, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm just going to plead guilty to a lesser offense, and I'm going to allow that that leasehold entity to attach, jump in my pocket for as long as that leasehold is active. So now I got a little demon in my pocket, and I don't know what just came over me. I don't know what possessed me to do that.
But you don't know it. You
don't
know.
know.
I've done it. I can't tell you how many times I've done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
to deal with the devil.
So the
That's
thing
right.
oh, you're not going to get in trouble. Just do this. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Son.
You're in trouble, all right? Because now you got a little bastard in your pocket
Son
jumping
of a-
around your house ruining your life.
I believe it. It was pretty crazy for a
the
while.
thing is that that's when you learn that everything's negotiable,
Yes.
and it's nothing more than a commercial transaction.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can sit there and plea bargain it, then you can also just walk away from it too.
Yes, you can. Why don't you take your demon Mac? I'm all set. I'm going to go hang out with God here on my piece of paper, and we're going to go sit in the sun on the beach for a couple of days, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll decide to take it right on red and, meet up with another guy from one of your offices and, embarrass him too while we're on our way to the casino or whatever. You know what I mean? And then keep the ball rolling because you don't have any obligations to them unless you agree. So want of authority, it's interesting, I did this once. We've got some interesting stuff. I had no business being on the public because I'm not supposed to be on the public. So anytime I put anything on the public, they knock it out. The stuff that's not on the public is the good stuff. And that's where they usually just dissolve the cases like they don't exist. It's almost as if we're invisible. So one of the ways that equity works, and we were talking about special yesterday, I put my boys into football. And they didn't do very well. One of them had a tantrum, and he had tantrum on the field, and he had brown silly putty stuck to his shirt, and he's just rolling around. I said, maybe next season. So I ended up taking them out. But before I put them in, I put on the applications. This is a special cause, so in other words, we're special, we're not general. We're special here, okay? And everything on this application is to remain private. And this is a proprietary priority claim, so we claim priority on everything, which is the same stuff you're going to write on your hotel bill, okay? And you have liability, so we're not going to sign a waiver that if they get hurt and killed and all other bullshit, and give you a way to do something to one of my children, you have nothing but liability if anything happens to them. Here you go. No problem. They never came to me for a dime. Okay, my sons were in football for about 2 months training. Never came to me for a penny. Didn't give me any problems. They got the uniforms, everything that they needed. When I had to pull them out, the guy comes up to me, gives me back their certificates, he opens up his binder.
Like this, right?
He opened up his binder.
He's in one of
Yeah.
these.
He opens up his binder, snaps the 3-prong thing open, pulled out his own records, snapped them closed and said, this is what you wanted, right? They have no record of our existence even being there, like we moved in and out like ghosts. Okay? Because the Lord works in mysterious ways. We were never there. You understand what I'm saying to you? So being special private priority under God's law means that you move how you want to move, you travel in and out how you want to travel in and out, and you have essentially you have a moral obligation and a liability, but you don't really have any liability because you're tax exempt on top of it.
It's your immunities.
It's your immunities in the private, okay? So the want of authority when you're dealing with all of these people.
My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email address is engineerwin@yahoo. My YouTube profile, Sovereign Living and Sovereignty International. My Facebook community page, I deleted it due to censorship on the part of Facebook. My private group at Facebook called Sovereignty International is being deleted. Facebook is a has-been. I don't even go there. I haven't been there for months. But if I wanted to go there and ban everybody off my group, that's the way I would delete it, because I'm not going to let Facebook profit from my hard work. Meanwhile, I have friends that are basically on there and managing things, and they can have at her for all I care. Anyways, my Yahoo private group is called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants. My Google private group is called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants. And follow me on Twitter at EngineerWin. Follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. And there's a link to my BitChute channel, although I don't have all my videos uploaded there. There's only a few. Well, there's quite a few. I've got quite a few, but still, it's not all of them.
Petitions get a want of authority. You make them prove that they have authority to even do it, because they're not even allowed in equity.
Is that like the certificate of authority that I got when I attached it to my warranty deed for the notary to make sure it wasn't a fake notary?
Yes, yes.
Same thing?
Yeah, they don't have, attorneys don't have.
I went home and I grabbed that mortgage stuff too. There's no
Cool.
warranty deed.
Nothing.
Yeah, I have it in my case over there.
Okay, we'll take a look at it a little bit later. Is it lunch? Do you guys, I don't know what time it is. Is that
It's
12
10
right?
to 12, so
Is
we
it?
can, anytime is,
It's up to you guys. I can sit here and ramble on for days on end.
whenever's a good time for you.
Okay, let me know if you guys get hungry. Okay, because I'll keep going. All right, so attorneys, this is corporate juris secundum. Now the law libraries are gold.
Yes, they
If you can get into the law library,
They won't let me in ours.
Hmm?
They won't let me in ours, in our town.
They're so
In
real.
our county. They said if you don't have a bar license, bar card, you can't come in the law library. 'Cause
don't
I've
get your
been
name
trying
changed
to.
to create. Trust me, they'll be escorting you in with this flower binder. So, American jurisprudence, okay, gold. When I tell you gold, they even tell you how the courts and the officials, they use time in different dimensions and how they break down different times for different things. So technically, 24-hour clock to us would be 72 hours would be a year if they needed to stretch that time out. They play with time a lot, okay, as in dimensional time. United States Postal Service is in charge of the universal barrier. You'll dig that one out. That's really interesting. They tell you who's who, what's what, okay? They essentially control the net. And some of that stuff is in Wikipedia, all right? Okay, so corpus juris secundum, volume, look at me, I'm like this when I can just be doing this. Volume 7, section 4. Attorney and client. The attorney's first duty is to the courts and to the public, not your private trust, okay? Not to the client. And whenever the duties to his client conflict with those he owes as an officer of the court in the administration of justice, the former must yield to the latter. So in other words, yours comes last. If you come in as a private civilian, go ahead. If you come in as a private civilian, he's not there for you. He's there to make sure the slaves stay enslaved, okay, and get stuck in the court grinding machine. That is his job. Okay? Like I said, the FBI guy's like, listen, don't answer any questions. I'm not asking any questions. Just listen. Your attorneys are robbing you blind.
Yeah, Glencoe
And
know
he
that pretty
still
good.
didn't listen. What? How could that possibly be? These attorneys have been friends since high school. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Friends since high school.
Friends? Are you kidding me? If my girlfriend and I had a hustle since high school, do you really? I mean, come on. You already know. I've been friends with her since I was 4 years old. Okay, corpus juris secundum assumes courts will operate in a lawful manner. The book, encyclopedia, just assumes that they'll be doing the right thing. If the accused makes this assumption, he may learn to his detriment through experience that certain questions of law, including the question of personal jurisdiction, may never be raised and addressed, especially when the accused is represented by the bar.
Right. That's
Okay.
why you can't have a lawyer.
And they're not.
If you have a lawyer.
That's
You
right.
have a lawyer, you admit jurisdiction.
Yeah.
That's why they stick into you. Massachusetts, stick them right to you.
Yeah, well, unless you object.
We object and they stick them right to you anyway.
Well, I know
fire
that.
You
them
have
if
to-
they're-
Yeah.
they're trying.
You can fire them and they'll just...
Stand
You guys
by your
ever seen
turn.
The Incredibles when Mr. Incredible was playing with the computer and he's trying to get out of that room and those black things
Yeah,
stick to him?
yeah.
Attorneys in Massachusetts.
Like men in black.
Yeah.
Fire them, yeah, I fired
Yeah.
the public defender, and then I wouldn't get up when they told me to go walk over to the table and get on the camera, and they were like, the attorney's like, oh shit, I don't know what's gonna happen in here today.
Right,
And
I'm
I-
not having it. I'm not here for that. Not today. Yeah.
So what that is a symptom of is nobody, or not enough people are firing their attorneys.
Not enough people know this stuff yet.
Well, exactly,
They are knowing that hits YouTube.
yeah.
What'd you say?
Kittens.
Too many kittens.
Meow, meow.
My neighbor's son, he got in trouble for talking on his cell phone in New Jersey. It's like a $500 fine now.
Mm.
So I told him, I says, you got a lawyer? He says, yes. I says, get rid of him.
No,
What do you mean? He says, what do you mean? I says, read their laws, man. Read the rules that they got to go by. I says,
Yeah.
you don't have to listen to me, look it up. I says,
Right.
he has no obligation to you. You pay that guy, and his
You gotta pay
obligation is to the
yourself.
court.
You gotta
Yeah.
pay the attorney, you gotta pay the fine anyway.
He
Or
says,
just pay
he
the
says
fine.
what
On the
what do you
first
mean?
day of this event, we had a lawyer in here
Oh,
listening
man.
to my presentation on trusts, and he flat out said, I can't do the stuff that you're saying that you have to do. And I said, I would never have a lawyer do this stuff.
Yeah,
He
no.
said,
Who
it's a,
would get that?
you know,
Yeah,
when
damn
you
it.
buy land, it's between two private people. When you do these trusts and stuff, you can't have a lawyer, you know.
No way. They'll just report you.
So I keep telling this guy what he's got to do when he goes to court. He says, well, you ain't never going to win, so what's the point? Might as well just pay him.
That program
I
is
said,
really
man, I'm
good.
telling you, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I says, listen, honestly, I'll take off from work to go with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go with you. I don't care. You know, just to prove the point. I was
Yeah.
like, just tell him, bro.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to hear it. He
Sometimes
says, I'm
you
just
can't.
going to pay, and then that's it. And that's the mentality of these people.
Some of them,
They're scared.
they say if they don't want to wake up, let them sleep. And it's unfortunate because these are also friendships and relationships that you've developed, and you have to sit there and watch them like, damn, wow, I can't shake those chains off because he can't see them.
It comes down to the matrix. There's some people that want to be a slave.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
your
right.
crap's up. You have
And they will fight to protect to defend that program.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. They'll
God
fight to
forbid,
the
don't
death.
touch my cloud that I'm floating on. Get off my cloud. You know, stay out of my delusions.
What's that club you're in?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I don't understand all of it, because it makes it so much harder to live, you know?
It
Being
does.
taxed, being fined,
Right.
this, that, the other
Some
thing.
people, listen, it's the way I see it is sometimes some of these people, it's not their round to wake up. Maybe they need a couple more rounds getting their teeth kicked in.
Well, and that's why it's also true that once you see the truth, you can never go back.
That's right.
You can never go back.
Oh, I tried. I was like, fuck the truth, man. You know what I mean? So I was like, get your ass back into the truth. You know? Yeah, I couldn't.
Morpheus
No.
was telling Neo with the red or blue pill. So if you take the red pill, you'll never be able to go back.
That's what I tell people is that sometimes, and you have to decide whether you want to continue down this path because that's right. Maybe you want to stay where you're at.
Right. And that's, listen, if you want to stay where you're at, that's fine. By all means, enjoy your slumber.
Yeah, but it bothers me to see people like that.
I know, but you're
I mean,
turning,
I mean, it
I
bothers
know.
me.
turning their whole life
You know?
upside down. Everything they've
Yeah.
ever been told,
Yeah.
they can't. Their brain can't handle it.
Right.
You know, right away.
You'll never be
sometimes.
the same.
Sometimes you
Once
have
you
to,
learn this stuff,
Right.
you will never be the same.
You're
As
absolutely
the
right.
saying, once your
Sometimes-
mind is expanded by a new idea, it can never return to its former size.
sometimes you have to lead
I've
by,
had growth.
sometimes you have to lead by example. You have
Yeah.
to do it, and then they'll see it and they'll go, wow, that's interesting, how'd you do that?
Right.
But they're not gonna, they're not gonna be a trailblazer.
You know the
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
You know the problem with that though.
I
The
told
fact
one day,
that
I'm like,
the
I
fact
think
that there's
I
so
just
many
grow
people
things,
that
like,
believe the
stretching.
lie, it makes it difficult for up for people such as us to live. Because the old saying goes, if any man is a slave, then I'm still a slave as well.
Understood.
And it's still, and
To some extent, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But you have to, and that's why I say, do you know who you are?
Right.
It's a way of life. It's not something, you don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm gonna be the king today. It's,
Right.
it's something that, it's a journey.
Yes.
And you do it step by step.
Yes.
And none of us knows everything. We're all learning new things.
Right.
And so it's not an event. It's a way of life.
It's a
a
way
journey.
of life. It's a lifestyle. Absolutely.
Yep.
1,000%. You have to walk in it 1,000% of the time.
Right.
And as you get going and as you start engaging, the fear goes away when you realize that these people are more afraid of you. We had one guy go into, I think he was in Kentucky, and he went into the county with a certificate, and he says, "Yeah, I wanna do a name change." And the lady looked at it, and she goes, "The sooner you get that taken care of, the better off we'll all be."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
A lot of times the clerks will help you.
They will
You
help
start-
you. If you go in there, you stupid bitch, blah, 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 they're not going to help you. They're going to call security on you. They're going to ban you from using their services. Then you're going to be scratching your ass trying to figure out, why am I not free?
Yeah.
Because you just insulted the one that was supposed to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I
A
mean?
lot of times they'll help you. They'll
help
do
you.
all sorts of things for you.
They will help you. Okay, so let's see. Where were we? Sometimes licensed counsels, released, appears to take on the characteristics of a fox guarding the henhouse. Jurisdiction once challenged is to be proven not by the court but by the party attempting to assert jurisdiction. Prove that you have in personam jurisdiction over me and my trust. Prove it. Where's your evidence? Where is your knowledge of the facts? I had this one woman. She was having a tough time, and I'll make it short and sweet. She was having a tough time with these people. And she went after them as a Jane Doe. And they come in the court. We have no knowledge of the facts. We have no knowledge of the facts. Okay? You have to have knowledge of the facts. They don't have it.
Can they ever
It's-
have it?
No.
They just make it up as they go
The
along.
knowledge of the facts is an affidavit attached to that proper name saying that you are the owner and the beneficiary of that name, and you're the only one who has exclusive right to use it, and they can't do that.
That's
Right.
all of that is hearsay. The Satanic Trust is hearsay.
There's two.
The image, any image is hearsay.
There's two trusts. I got them in there.
Well, and so there you go. I wasn't aware of that, but that wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's all hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has, unless they get you to testify against yourself.
Tell them.
That's why they absolutely have to have you give them the name.
Right.
They got to have you
Yeah.
do everything. And
You
that's
don't
why.
give them that name until you defeat the my name is private step 3 times. Until you defeat that, I'm not giving you an oath 3 times. Then you step into equity where it's safe to put forward the name as the beneficiary, because the beneficiary can only be seen in equity. He can't be seen at law. If you bring him out at law, they're going to disintegrate him.
So after the oath thing, when they start asking you stuff like, do I understand? Or that's when you're
Do
like,
I
yes.
understand?
That's
Yeah.
when you're walking into equity. Alright.
I had a judge, really interesting creature, she was. And I say creature deliberately. So, I had to have the Supreme Court come down and reverse the jurisdiction because they weren't having it, okay? It was literally a test of wills, because I'm like, you ain't, I'm not here for you guys to steamroll over, I'm not having it. So, I go back into court, now I'm pissed off because of all the shit you just pulled last time I was here. I mean, it's not on my foot, with the invisible jurisdiction running in the background. State your name for the record. I am not going to put my name in the public. And you're not going to give us an oath either. No. What do you wish I do? Your wish is my command. Okay? Turn them into genies. Now we have an understanding. She gave me the whole court file. She goes, this is here. She says, I'm going to give this to you. I took it home.
Now they don't even have a case. They don't have anything. She took the case.
She gave it to me.
That's right. She gave you the case.
There's no record.
Did you say anything or you just walked out?
Just walk in.
Give it to the proper owner.
Mm-hmm.
What about the liquor sheets?
Mine then.
The liquor sheets they have.
Nothing Okay, so jurisdiction 1's challenge is to be proven not by the court, but by the party attempting to assert jurisdiction. Burden of proof of jurisdiction lies with the asserter. The court is, this is in the red now. The court is only to rule on the sufficiency of the proof tendered. Do you guys know what tender is?
It's a commercial transaction.
It is a commercial transaction.
That means like to give over.
That's
Money paid into court shall be in the custody of the clerk, who is the person entitled to enforce the trust. Money paid into court shall be in the custody of the clerk, whose duty it shall be to receive it. I will give you some hidden mana, and a new name known only to he who receives it. Okay? When paid under the authority of law or rule or order of the court, he shall pay it as directed by the court, but money paid into court upon tender or otherwise for the present unconditional use of a party shall be paid on request without special order in any interest which has accrued thereon to such party at whose risk it shall be from the time when it is paid into court. Money payable to a party may be paid to his attorney of record. This is how they're getting paid. Running around taking your certificate and then bring it into the court unless you have control and you can do it yourself.
Right, so then they're paying it to the attorney. And there's actually stories. There was a story of that I remember about some attorney. Oh, it was that attorney that porn star attorney, because he had kept someone's winnings in a lawsuit and not given it to him, and he kept it for himself. And that was one of the felonies that he got indicted with.
Yeah, he had a few of those.
Yeah.
Good.
He had a lot of shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. So, they are looking for, actually when I went to do this, I said to the clerk, I said, this is money. Oh, if you want this to be money, you have to motion the court to see it as money. I said, no problem, motion for the court to see it as money. There you go, here's some money, right? So, the court is only to rule on the sufficiency of the proof tendered. Here's a couple occasions. The origins of this doctrine of law may be found in Maxfield versus Levy. So when you guys get these slides,
Look up the case.
oh yeah.
I'm on it.
All right. We're almost done with the attorneys here. These devils. Attorney at law, public attorney. Attorney at law is not in law. He's outside. He's trying to keep you outside. A professional and properly qualified, so he can act in the proper road. So whenever they came after me in a civil suit, and she put her proper name on it, I said, wait a minute, you're a civilian coming after another civilian in proper form. You're personally liable to this bitch, my friend. Okay? A professional and properly qualified legal agent, but an agent may not take an oath in agent representative capacity. So you're coming after me personally. You're trying to use your property to take my property. You're a thief, bitch. As a solicitor, practices in the courts of equity, but you don't really see solicitors unless, of course, you're talking about us when we want to buy and sell. One who conducted litigation in these courts, preparing the case for barristers or counsel whose duty and privilege it is to plead and argue in open court. The Bible says don't argue. I'm not here to argue, and I said that to her. She's like, well, you can go and argue that and blah, 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 blah. I'm not here to argue. I'm not coming to argue with you. I don't have to. This is attorney's oath from Massachusetts, 221 section 38. Ma'am, do you have the subscribed oath per 221 section 38? I've only found one. And I've been asking for them for about 5 years. I've only been able to find one with a signature on it. Would you mind leaving that fan on? Because I'm roasting in here.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Whoever is admitted as an attorney shall, in open court, take and subscribe. Orally take, writing down. The oaths to support the Constitution of the United States and of the Commonwealth, and the following oath of office shall be administered to and subscribed by him. I only have one that has United States of America with his signature on. One, and that's the attorney that came after me for the Hyatt, and my documents matched his oath. And I said, aren't we all on the same side here? Don't I win? Unless they're committing fraud, because you have an oath to my papers. And the judge says, I'm familiar with that oath. I said, because you have the same oath. So what are we arguing about? I, John Doe, solemnly swear that I will do no falsehood, nor consent to the doing of any in court. I will not wittingly or willingly promote or sue any false, groundless, or unlawful lawsuit, nor give aid or consent to the same. I will delay no man for lucre or malice, which is money. But I will conduct myself in the office of an attorney within the courts according to the best of my knowledge and discretion, and with all good fidelity, as well as to the courts as my clients. So help me God.
It's not in the U.S. Constitution for oaths. That was
This
Where
is
does it say subscribing to the Constitution of the United States and the Commonwealth? It says it up there, but the actual oath doesn't say anything about it.
This is the Massachusetts oath.
I have an attorney oath in Massachusetts from Lorelei Hayward.
You got her signature on it?
Yep.
You have it with me?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I have a
So it's
question.
two.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I didn't know if you knew why. Like when the attorneys receive their certificate to practice law, it's a certificate. It has their full legal name,
Right.
but they sign all their papers with their first, middle, last name. So why is it? Why aren't you signing their full name?
Anything with the full name on it is a civilian. If they're signing full, middle, initial, last name, they are committing a crime.
I noticed that it's all of them.
It's against their oath. That's treason.
So they
Hang
should
'em.
just put first name, last name?
They shouldn't be in there at all.
Nope. It should be-
They shouldn't be signing the oath?
They should be signing the oath and keeping their asses out of court. In people's lives. But they're committing crimes. Shakespeare said, first things first, we kill all the attorneys.
But they're not in people's lives. They're dealing with entities,
That's also true.
and we're going along with it.
That's also true.
So should they be signing the way it is on their certificate? Because that's who that certificate.
They do. When they begin a civil action, that's how I noticed. So when I had to respond to the case, I sent it directly to the attorney, a restricted mail. Because you're the one who signed this. So this is between you and I, not the Hyatt. You're not even supposed to be acting in a representative capacity, but since you are, you're still personally liable because you had the nerve to put your name on this record to sue me on behalf of them, even though you can't act in a representative capacity, which means you're just trying to come in here and rob my estate on the guise of them, when you're not supposed to be suing for lucre. You're not supposed to be wittingly or unwitting or willingly or willingly promote or sue any false, groundless, or unlawful lawsuit. And I have your oath, Your Honor. What's this guy doing? They lost.
How'd you find that for Massachusetts? Like, how would I find that for New Jersey?
I was just going there.
You just subscribe oath, attorney subscribed oath, New Jersey statutes.
Okay. Not the best with this kind of stuff, but
Well,
all right.
that's on the legislature,
Right.
211,
Regis.
section 38.
Yeah.
So they gotta have something.
You ought to be able to Google
It's
that.
usually
actually.
right around the same. Right around the same.
Oh, so that's like a generic oath for all.
You'll
right.
probably find it around the 221-38 around for your state. Gage, you're gonna get all these
I know, but I'm
just like to take
obsessed.
pictures. Okay. Click away. Okay. You versus you. Proper you versus all capital letter you, which is nobody. All capital letter anything is nobody. If you see the police driving around, Ocean City Police, all cap, nobody. They need your donation to function. Okay? 1 Corinthians 6:19, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you? Whom you have received from God, you are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore honor God with your bodies. 1 Corinthians 15:44, it is sown as a natural body, it is raised as a spiritual body. If there is a natural body, there is also a spiritual body, because your body and your spirit are bound to that name, according to Weenie Attorney. This is in the property appraiser's office down in Miami-Dade County. Office of the property appraiser in proper form. Welcome. How may we help? Yeah. So when we went in there to talk to him, yes, okay, we're just looking for blah, 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 okay, what's your name? No. No. Oh, our names are private. Whatever. You know, she's 22. Whatever. And she goes and gets a lady. She was supposed to get a guy who was responsible for what we were looking for. A woman comes out. Hi, how can I help? Happy, because we didn't give a name. So now she knows that there's two people that control their own destiny.
Check out my other videos: Bankster Thieves Playlist, Roman Cult Playlist, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments, Bar Members 1 through 3, Do-It-Yourself How Not to Volunteer for the Selective Service in the Draft, Martial Law is Here, Do-It-Yourself No Income Tax, Do-It-Yourself Free Mail, Do-It-Yourself Kangaroo Courts 1 through 13, Canada Border Pigs Playlist, Bar Members and their Satanic Connections Playlist.
By not giving their names to the ball secretary. What can I do for you guys? Oh, you guys want to do adverse possession? Yeah, no problem. We've got these forms out. Just fill them out, no problem. And then you have to pay taxes for 7 years. But if you're private, your tax exempt.
Swear to God.
Your house is free. Just fill this out. Your house is free. Land of the free, home of the brave.
Really?
Yeah.
If you're brave,
You gotta be brave to be free.
You gotta be brave. Yeah.
I keep receiving about
It's a real
you gotta
constitutional.
You gotta put it on the line.
And
You gotta put
forget
it on the
about
line.
it. So,
You have to decide what you want to put on the line to get what you want. Some things go too far.
So I think if I go to the property tax place by me and I don't give them my name, something like that may happen.
I would check the adverse possession rules first. Usually it's about 20 years, but the proper name. So if you go in and you get your proper name, you want to quit claim any other name other than your proper name.
You gotta do
rid of it.
paperwork before you
Get
can do
rid of
that.
it. Yeah, get your paperwork
If you're there
done
as-
before you do
If you're
anything.
there as a tenant, you gotta pay.
Right.
What's interesting about that warranty deed that I found in my property records, remember we looked at it last night? My name is not on that anywhere, because it's
That
private.
means it's abandoned.
Oh,
That means it's abandoned, so anyone can come along and claim it if they have the proper credentials, and you happen to put your proper name on there. It's yours.
say what?
You can
This is the
scroll
one
up and
I
down.
created. This is the one I got from this clerk.
Oh, this is important. All right, so
Oh, nice. Sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
If you guys want to take a break, let me know.
1 o'clock, we'll
Lunch.
go for lunch.
What time is it? Okay,
Well,
quarter.
when have we do that?
Okay, cool. All right, so this comes out of Gibson's Treatise on Suits and Equity. Okay, super excellent book if you're trying to study equity and the principles. You know what I'm talking about. All right.
What was that again?
It's called Gibson's Treatise on Suits and Equity. I might have that a little convoluted, but you should be able to find
I
it.
have the PDF, I can send it to anybody.
There you go.
Yes,
Okay.
Once you get it on WhatsApp.
yes.
Lots of new concepts, lots of new words, because it's a different language than the standard statutes and codes and stuff that you've been exposed to all this time. But this is where it's at. Okay? When you get that proper form certificate,
Title 41.
you get that proper form certificate, this is the proper venue where you're supposed to be dancing around. Where the attorneys have no voice. Where the corporations can be dissolved in front of your eyes just by
What courts are these?
These are the courts of equity. This is,
Well, where in Massachusetts is this court?
you have to activate it. You missed last night. You have to activate it. Okay? That's the not giving the name, not taking of the oath. Now we have an understanding.
So we can be in any court, but we can
Any court.
enter equity by our language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Language, papers, absolutely.
They have different jurisdictions, so you have to.
This is the secret side door jurisdiction. That's not supposed to exist. This exists when they go, oh, we're in equity, let me see your papers. Oh, this is a trust, okay. Okay? This is the jurisdiction that when I walk out the door and I put special private priority on my son's football papers, that we were never there. Okay? We don't exist. Poof, gone. Okay? This is not common law. This is contrary to common law. And they actually explain to you what they do to you at law, common law, accuse you, this, that, you did all these horrible things, you're a terrible, terrible human being, you should be, thrown in the ocean with bricks tied to your feet when you're in common law. But equity automatically sees them as fraud. Automatically sees that there should be a fairness. Where's the fairness? This isn't fair. You've been beating the crap out of these people, and there's no fairness. Where's the fairness? Okay? This is the jurisdiction where you want to be trusted. This is where Tilith was. He walked in. I'm the intended beneficiary of this matter. Okay, courtroom 3. Next! Now he's in an empty courtroom. With his papers and his nephew and his cousin, and there's only a judge there, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And the attorney's sweating because his career is about to go down the drain. And the judge must do what Tilith tells him because he's the beneficiary of that private trust that's not supposed to exist. Not in the public, okay?
Is that did you ever hear that saying attorneys have to show up with their wallets, or they better show up with their wallets? Is that because of this?
Yeah,
Or
they
a
should have their
checkbook?
checkbook on them.
Yeah. That's because of this. Okay. Okay. The style is the way the name is written. It's another word for it. It's like a bear in the woods. A cause is known by its style as a man is known by his name. And any change in the style, can you read it from over here? Any change in style of a cause is sure to create confusion and may cause loss. So if they alter your name in any way, shape, or form, it's going to cause confusion, it's going to cause some losses. All right? A paper or order misstyled may be stricken from the files on motion, and though copied onto a transcript, may be ignored in the Supreme Court. Neither solicitors nor clerks are sufficiently careful about giving every cause its true and due style. So great has been the evil resulting that legislative action has been taken, prohibiting the clerks from changing the style of any cause or papers in the same without the permission of the Chancellor. Who's the Chancellor? He's the equity judge. He's the equity judge. Okay? When you go into a court to get your name changed, that guy in front of you is going to be a Chancellor. Alright? This is important. Because this is where when you look at your paper, this is misstyled, this is the wrong name, this is a misnomer. Motion to strike, if you have to be in there. If you want to play at law. Motion to strike, this is fake. Okay, it's going to cause loss, it's going to cause harm. Tilith memorized this. And recited this in court. Okay? Now, this doesn't say the Supreme Judicial Court. It's in proper form, Supreme Court. These are other tricks in writing. Doesn't say the United States Supreme Court. Doesn't say the Supreme Judicial Court for the state of New Jersey. It's the Supreme Court in proper form. The Supreme Most High. Wherever you go with your proper form, and you turn that into an equity jurisdiction, that will be your Supreme Court. Your Honor, now that we're in equity, Motion to change the name to my proper form so that my equitable interest can be seen. Couple of tests. Motion granted. Oh my God. Because now the style has been changed to reflect his priority interest. Knocked Mr. Attorney's interest out. And now Teal's about to smoke him. Take him to the smokehouse.
Now, what tests would those be? The ones that we went over before, last night?
When he had him in the room and the attorney took off, and he says, I just wanted to know about, what you think about the law and how, Your Honor, with all due respect, in my opinion, the law is just and right. Because he's in law. He's in it. My sovereignty, you've been violating my rights, blah, 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 blah. I gave you my name and you violated my rights with it. And he knows he's in equity. This is perfectly okay with me, Norway. Yeah, this is just and right because we're in equity. This is just and this is right and this is correct and I'm very happy to be here and I thank you for your service, Your Honor, because you know you're in the right jurisdiction now. After having made it through those few steps, you'll know because the judge's tone of voice is going to change. I had a judge, I swear it was like she turned into a cat, jumped off the podium and wrapped her white fuzzy cat and wrapped herself around my ankle. I couldn't believe it. I said, holy shit. They were even trying to give me directions. Oh, you want to go get some ice cream? Oh, what you want to do? All of them. Even the clerks, what are you doing? You go down there and you take a left. You can go get some ice cream over there. And the other one's like, no, there's a better place over there. It's cheaper for the kids. And they got jimmies and sprinkles and blah, blah, blah. Because I told her that I was the beneficiary of this matter. She goes, we don't want to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I was like, okay. Completely baffled. That's where you want to be.
Do you know where we can find that in the book?
What I would do is I would do in quotes, a cause is known by its style, and then do a search on it. I don't remember where I found it. I mean, this is like one of those 4 a.m. finds. Oh my God! You know what I mean? Huh?
It's like a 1,300-page book.
Yeah.
You grabbed it though.
Yeah. It's got some really interesting stuff. There's another quote down here too that I missed. And it's talking about when the clerk signs it, they consider it to be a wedding garment. Did you guys see the Lego? Ooh, I'm sorry, honey. The Lego movie too. The second one yet?
I'm sorry, that's going to be in all the slides, right? Did he give us?
Which one, honey?
The last one that we're just on?
Yeah, this is all on the slides. You're going to get the slides. But you can take a picture if you want. The second Lego movie, the first one was interesting because they're always looking for the special. The whole entire movie, they're looking for the special. Where's the special? Where's the special? Where's the special? The special, like I said, when I put special, private priority, private claim on my children's football stuff, here you go, like we were never there. They never charged me a dime for them to play football. This was an LLC. LLC is not eligible for any type of equitable conversion. That's an American jurisprudence. I got that from. So what I was saying was the first Lego movie, they're always looking for the special. Even in the trailer, the special, we're looking for the special. The second one, they come across this mythical queen, and the whole queen's position is the equity court. And she's dancing around. She's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you whatever you want. Excuse me. I'm not here to do any harm. I'm just trying to help you guys out. But it looked like she was this malicious queen. And she wanted to get married, which is that wedding garment ring that we talk about in this book. I have had some other interesting fork-tongue conversations with people. Yeah, the only way that they'll let you in the house is if you have to go get your wedding garment. I'm like, what'd you say? Click. I'm like, did you hear that? Because I had someone on three-way. Did you hear what he just said? And we went back to this book, and we're like, okay, so he's talking about, they play this game all day, every day. And this guy was like he worked in the administrative office of warehouses of the state. Another guy with dust on his phone and cat hair in his coffee mug. You know what I mean? No one calls him. You know what I mean? So, they all know this stuff. It's us who don't know it. I'm telling you, it's incredible. And I wish I had recorded more conversations. I've had her on the phone with me when I've called the police station, and some of the conversations, some of the things that they've said is completely mind-blowing. All right. So, the name, game, and civil liberty. Any name used in a public forum or unsealed outside of chambers is a public event, period. Okay?
So can I ask you a question real
Yeah.
quick about this? So once you're private and you make that official of your decree and everything, how do you operate in the public? Because I know the public and private can't mix.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're private, do you use a different, do you have like a new fake name?
It depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing. If you want to drive, jump in your car and go. Just jump in your car and go.
What about like your utilities and things like that?
Okay, so the utilities, for those, you can quit claim them. You can do a release from your Social Security account to discharge them. You can discharge it yourself. To knock out the lease name on that, there's a few different ways to do that. You can send them a bill of exchange, or you can even authorize them to use it because they already have your certificate on file.
So do you put the accounts in a private name or like an LLC or
Well, they already have your bond. Once
right.
you did the
They're already
application,
getting paid with your bond.
right?
So you're
Just
paying them
authorize
a second time when you pay them
Right.
through the mail or whatever. But so you just leave everything in your name.
You can quit claim their name and then reconvey it to yourself because they already have your bond. You can authorize them to say, hey, listen, stop taking that out of this. Take it out of the bond take it out of the bond instead. Okay? Quit claim this. I don't want to use this investment contract anymore with your leasehold name. Put mine on there. You can use the bond. We don't have a bond. Listen, don't play with me. Because as soon as I filled out an application, you applied for the bond to use it. You're just waiting for me to authorize you to use it. I'm authorizing you to use it. Here's my decree. I have control of it. You can go ahead and just charge it every month.
But just leave it the way it is, right? Like,
You just do that verbally.
You can do that verbally. You'll be going back and forth, but you need to know the forked tongue language in order to engage with these people.
Right.
So you can get to a certain extent so far, but this has to become a lifestyle. It absolutely has to.
like the way my bill is in my name right now, just leave it like that, and then you would just talk.
It's all block capital A's.
But you, okay, but I wouldn't say your name, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, you
Your
know?
name.
Yeah.
But I would just leave it like that, and then I would just talk to him on the phone, like you said,
Yeah.
right? Like, I wouldn't have to create an LLC or change anything at all. I would just leave it the way it is, and then I would just, push him around a little bit on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll be some little customer service, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jenny, who has no idea, I need you to escalate this, then it's going to get to the call center, and then it's going to get to a certain extent, Brenda's going to get on the phone. Now, don't think Brenda doesn't know what's going on. Brenda knows what's going on.
Brenda knows more than Jenny.
Brenda knows more than Jenny. I want to talk to Brenda. Brenda, listen, I need you to change your name on this record because I have a priority equitable interest in this matter, and I have evidence of the facts and full knowledge of the facts. So I'm going to authorize you to use the bond that you guys have on file. You have a bond on file, right? Don't you have it with my name on it? Oh, well, and she's going to start fork-tonguing back. And you better be ready for it, so you can fork-tongue back. Listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, I'll send you in the mail, I'll appoint you as my personal private representative to go ahead and handle my affairs every month. How's that? Does that work for you? Because I have the unlimited power of appointment. I can do that. That's no problem. Are you okay with that? Is that cool? Can you no? You don't want to do that? Okay. Who's your boss? Okay, you know what? Don't even worry about it, Brenda. I'll just talk to the CFO and I'll appoint that office. As a matter of fact, what I might do instead, since I have priority equitable interest in this matter, what I might do instead is I might just send them maybe I'll just send them something that completely discharges whole obligation, and you can run this whole thing for the next 5 years off of this one silver certificate dollar that I give you. How's that? Does that work? Is that better? Is that better? Yeah. And an appointment. Is that better? Because you guys work for me.
Mom?
Hi.
I love you.
I love you too.
New record?
Lunchtime.
Thank you.
I know I just
Thank
wanted
you,
to-
Tryal.
You're welcome. Run it off? No, I'm not.
What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man? Yeah, that looks like a dagger, Elliot. Please don't. Please, not the dagger. Now it's a dagger. It's called a push pop dagger.
This is when I bought my house, April 19th of 09. Actually, I closed May 29th. So they had already transferred the deed and authorized the transaction
So, what are we
and
going for
everything
lunch?
on April 14th.
Well, we go to the
Which is
place
then I
next to the
think that's the
Chinese
day
food,
before tax day.
or the Mexican place.
So when
What's
you
next to
own
the-
this,
I'm
so
easy.
it's a
Or we could just
open
walk down the
free-
street here,
Or
walk
to the
to
deli, yeah.
go to the deli.
The
No
place
name
that,
on it.
next to the Chinese food, we ate there a few times, it was real good.
But everybody thinks we all have our names on them. You know? Of course, I would think my name would be on the deed too. This was my property description. Great, I'm accepting it because I bought it 10 years ago. But my name is nowhere on this warranty deed for my
Yeah, but
property.
you accepted it.
But I accepted it, so now it is.
So, yeah. I mean, that was brilliant, actually. It worked, didn't it?
I showed Tryal all of this, and she goes, "Yeah, you're the special. Right there it is. It's a special warranty deed."
There you go.
She goes, "It's yours. Now all you have to do is discharge the mortgage." And then she goes, "And then you take all the property interest and yada yada." And she goes, "When you go to court, they'll offer you $1 million, and you tell them no, you want all of it, like all the investments that they've made."
Yeah, I want the...
Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants. For a complete set of YouTube videos with private information, shares a DVD with over 50 searchable law dictionaries and other books and forms, contact me privately at engineerwin@yahoo.com. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept the military script, the IOUs, the Federal Reserve notes, the PayPal gifts, the checks, the money orders. Send me an email for particulars.
So ready for it to warm up and stand it. Summer.
A bird.
Outside?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here?
Get used to it. The jungle's coming out in me.
What part of PA you from? John? Where about in PA you from?
Where we're at now?
Where at in PA are you from?
Philly.
Oh, it's your place.
Right
Oh,
across,
okay.
yeah. Not far. Incidentally, I gotta get your email so I can send that piece to you.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. It's actually, it's really easy. It's Mike with 2 E's, 1987 at Yahoo.
Love it. And it's Michael, right?
Yeah, Michael.
It's private, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike with 2 E's.
Yeah, 1987 at Yahoo.
Yahoo!
Remember those commercials?
Yahoo!
This is on?
Yes.
Do we know it's on? Okay.
It's Mikey!
Yeah, Mikey, yeah.
You let him eat it.
Really anything.
All right. We already go over this? No? Okay. So the name game is always being played. You guys know that, right?
Yep.
Constantly.
Even at fucking Starbucks.
Even at Starbucks. We need your name. Oh, shit. Everywhere you go. Okay?
XYZ.
Give us your power, please. Give us your power, please. Give us your power,
But in
please.
some cases, if you don't state it, they want to know whose file to search to get the document that you need.
So this is where you do things privately. So let's say, for instance, you want to go stay at a Hilton, right? And you're going to be there for a week. You contact not the customer service, but the people at the executive office, because those are the ones who are going to be executing for you. Those are the guys behind the scenes that you don't see. Yeah, hi, listen, I need to speak to someone in the executive offices of the Hilton, please. I'm a private civilian. I need to schedule a week at the Hilton in Ocean City. Oh, yeah, sure, hold on a second. Hi, this is Rebecca. How can I help you? Hi, Rebecca. How you doing? Listen, I'm a private civilian. What I'm trying to do is maintain my privacy, but I would love to use your hotel services. How do I go about booking a room and, keeping all of my information private, of course? Okay, well, blah, blah, blah. She's going to start telling, do you have a court order? That's usually the first thing that they say. Do you have a court order? For your name. Do you have a court order? Yeah, I have a court order. I can send this to you right now. Great. Send the court order. Okay, this is what we can do. And they'll put a shield around your account.
Having the court order.
The court order is the big deal.
Having it officially.
Yes. Your passport applications asks you if you've done a change of name. There's immigration documents when you have to reapply for your immigration papers. They ask you, have you done a change of name? It's in their application. Have you done a change of name? Do you have a new decree? Are you now?
So I should change my name and then reapply for a new passport based on
You can
my
do
name
that,
change.
but you have to, when you do the new application, you have to answer the questions a certain specific way. You can't fill it out like you used to be able to fill it out because you need to be able to read the difference between
So not anymore checking U.S. citizen.
other.
The address is
You check
different.
other.
No, I don't think there's other. I think it just says yes or no to citizen.
You can skip it.
So you
You
skip
can write
it.
Other, because everything on
Oh,
those
it's either
papers is
yes or
all
no.
just suggestions.
Two boxes,
Skip it.
yes or no.
You skip no, and then sometimes they'll say, can you explain? If the answer's no.
Can you add a box and say other, or will they just deny you?
They
right
say
off the
you
bat?
shouldn't do that. They say if you do that, then they look at it, they look at the paper, and it's like a discrepancy on the paper, and then they.
Then you put a notice
void the
inside.
paper.
Notice of private civilian, Fourth Amendment,
Yeah, you could attach an affidavit.
Well, they usually ask, have you renounced your U.S. citizenship? And I always say no, because how can you renounce
Something
that
you
which
never
you've
were.
never been?
Right.
You've never been a U.S. citizen. How
That's a
can you
good point.
renounce it? So I
But they
say
have
no.
you in there as a default. They have you in there by default. If you have not made an election, which is a choice between one or the other, they default you into the state
Actually,
status.
I sent them, Secretary of State, a registered letter telling them, I hereby renounce your low-life scumbag U.S. citizen slave,
Eat shit and die, thank you.
but I remain an American national.
Yes. That's
But
right.
can you go out of the country with that
I got a
status? though?
passport that way.
You have the right to travel.
You were
Because
never, you were
because
never a U.S.
there's a
citizen.
lady online, and her name's Anna Von.
Marianne Von Rees.
Right. She says you can't leave the country now.
Well, you know.
She says she's trying to help people get back in the country with their birth certificates because
Those
they.
authenticated records are designed to allow you to travel over, because when you authenticate them, you
Right,
give them a
that's what
country.
they're for. That's what they're for. You have to pick the other country that you're supposed to be going over to do business in.
Actually,
Okay.
I've had no trouble getting coming into the country. I mean, and I tell them I'm not one of your U.S. citizens, and I'll show them some like NSEA ID, and they kind of pitch a fit and jump up and down and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, they tell me get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll tell them I'm a Texas citizen, but I'm not a U.S. citizen. They'll say, well, we don't recognize Texas citizenship. So then I say, well, how do you spell treason?
But if you walk into the passport office, right, with your court order and stuff, right, and saying I'm a private citizen,
Then they're going to put you through the fork tongue testing.
right, you'll do the same thing, like as if you're a court order, like the same thing. They're gonna ask you for your name, all that stuff.
They might. They might. Oh, do you understand that you need to fill these things out in order for us to process your application so that we can establish your citizenship? Hold on a minute. What citizenship are you trying to establish? You listen to every word they say. It's almost like if you speak two languages, if you speak Spanish and German and someone's speaking to you, and you speak English, they're speaking to you in German, there's that small delay where you have to hear the information, translate it, and then speak back to them.
Right.
It's the same thing with English. There's variations of English.
Furthermore, there's people I've heard about, now I haven't done this, but I've heard of people that will like decide they're going to go to Russia, and what they will do is they'll book their arrangements right on a flight like 6 months or a year from now or something, and then they'll send a letter to the Russian embassy. And they'll say, I am traveling to Russia on this flight on this date and time, and I'll be there from this date, and I'll be leaving on this date and time, and coming back. And so please send me a letter acknowledging that. And then they send you a letter acknowledging that. That's an invitation from the government. And so you don't need a passport then.
I like that.
And
It's a little roulette-y, but I'm not against it.
So,
Maybe I'll make the flight.
that's
Especially Russia.
When I was in my 20s, I heard about people that went to the Soviet Union with a baptismal certificate as identification.
Unless you're a communist, you don't want to go to Russia.
Well, but
Take my word for it.
well, then, but now I've been to Ukraine. I liked it in Ukraine.
I like that too, but eventually I had to run.
At any rate, there's other, you got to do some research, but there's other alternatives that people do as far as international travel. Now, as far as passports are concerned, I don't have a passport right now, and I'm not sure. I've thought about applying for a U.S. passport. I did send Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice. I sent both of them notice and demands. I'm not sure if I did John Kerry, but I did also cut up. I had an expired passport. I cut it up into pieces, and I sent it back to who's the current Secretary of State? Or was it the last
It's
one?
Rex Yellowstone or something like that?
No,
He's out now.
Gone now
That's
too?
who I had.
Tillerson was the previous one. But I think it was I think it's the Curtin one.
Bolton?
It's the CIA guy. It's Pompeo.
I
There's one
sent
at
it back.
Pompey.
I sent it back with one of my nasty grams.
With one of your what?
One of my nasty grams.
Say it again. I want a live recital.
It starts off and says, normally I say I accept your oath of office, but we both know you have no intention of honoring your oath of office, so fuck your oath, you motherfucking son of a bitch.
Have a nice day.
That's only the first paragraph.
I call it tyranny.
Because I was just asking about his passport just because I want to be able to buy a gun. I know I need to be able to show them something. They're not going to sell me
Bear
nothing.
arms.
Right. Right. I know.
Which is also adjustable rate mortgage securities, but it's a whole other story. It's an acronym. ARMS.
Mike Pompeo, that's the current Secretary of State. I sent him.
Okay.
They questioned him in court, in open court. The judge, they were scrutinizing the authentication. We don't even know if he would really sign. This was us when he was just fresh in.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, they were scrutinizing it. What's ARMS an acronym for?
ARMS, adjustable rate mortgage securities.
All right to bear.
Right to bear arms, to be the bearer.
So at any rate, I sent one. I told you I sent one of my nasty grams to Kirsten Nielsen, right? And then I sent a copy to Trump, and he started bad-mouthing her, and now she's out of there.
Oh. I called the White House one day and I said, listen, can you explain to me the difference between the United States and the United States of America? And the woman says, I'm sorry, but nobody here can answer that for you.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They use that word a lot.
Nobody here.
And what was that, just like a secretary or
So,
something?
Yeah.
is nobody
Yeah,
here
so
or
they
nobody
know.
somewhere else?
Yeah, there's no body to the trust here. I'm sorry, you've got the wrong place. Okay, so name game and civil liberty, you're always playing the name game. It's your job to protect your civilian liberties or waive them. Any name used in the public forum, or unsealed outside of chambers is a public event, okay? So, if you're in a situation where, and you can also use this to your advantage, hang on a second, now you violated my constitutional rights where you took private property for public use without just compensation. Here's what I want. Here's my evidence. Of course, that's all in chambers. You can argue it outside of chambers, but make sure you get in chambers before you reveal your stuff and make your claim. Your power is in the private and the name withheld from the public. Don't give it to them.
You know, there's one thing I was thinking on the way to lunch here today. I was thinking when they ask you for your name, you say, well, that's private, but it's for sale.
The Royals just had
You
an
can rent it.
announcement.
You
No
can
name.
rent it, that's right.
You can rent it. What'd you say?
Yeah.
The Royals, whatever. It's a boy, it's a child, Duchess, Duke, no name. Pound, 7 pounds, 3 ounces, no name.
No name.
No name. But everyone else puts their baby on Facebook with hospital blanket, pink and blue name,
Right.
penis,
The name
everything.
tag, everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a trailer. I want to say Thor Ragnarok. You guys get a chance to check it out. And he's like, why don't they're talking about the name in the elevator. He goes, you don't have to have a name in the elevator. You are asked in every case to forfeit your private rights by the forked tongue speech. We need your name. We have to have your name according to our policy. So on and so forth. We need. Stop begging, bitch. You can't have my name. Okay? The biggest barrier between liberty and capture is their language that they're using. Okay? So as you guys go along, and listen, if you guys are home, you're bored, you got on your fluffy socks and your blanket, turn on C-SPAN and just watch them. Your jaw will be, you'll be like, all of them, everything that they say, completely forked tongue. If you don't catch it right away, write down some of the words. That sounds suspicious. That sounds suspicious. Use the etymology dictionary and look up every word that they're using. Before you guys go, I have a flash drive here, and I have the encyclopedias from the 1800s that go all the way back to, I think, 13th century, maybe even 12, that give you the majority of the words that they've used. Some of the words have 6 or 7 pages front and back on different definitions of what they're saying. If you guys can master the language, you can steamroll. No problem. Okay? Okay. In order to rightly comprehend a thing, inquire first into the names, for right knowledge of things depends on their names. If you want to be a creditor and end up on the right side, you need to get their name first. You can get their name, you can take their position, and you can become the creditor. This is where you can subrogate from their side, step in, grab their position, throw them over to the debt side where they belong, and then subrogate the entire claim. This is not the best picture, but this is one advertisement. I actually put this up on some message board or something. And the majority of people that saw this were offended. Oh, I can't believe it. They treated that show is such an abomination to the black people, blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? They're telling you right here. Your name is your shield. Your words are your sword, your name is your shield. What is your problem? They can't see past the controversy to see the solution. Okay? This is good. You make an election between public and private trust in every case, in every engagement. When you step outside the store, when you answer the phone, you're making a choice. I had the woman from Vital Statistics flat out tell me, being an American is a choice. The land of the free. So if I want to be free, I have to constantly be in the mindset where I can speak this and make the choice every step of the way, shut them down, and continue on about my business and do what I want to do. Right? So, this is American jurisprudence, and this is in trusts. General classifications, but this is how the two trusts work. It has been said, you guys can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Nelson?
They went to witness with the postmaster for Manuel Nelson, but Vital, and
Oh, they did go.
they
Why did you
did.
tell me they weren't going?
They thought we wouldn't start without them, but
Okay.
here we are.
Hutch, want to wait for them? Maybe call them and see where they're at? Because he especially Nelson, needs to see this particular piece.
Oh, we can wait or something if you want.
Aren't you going to send the slides?
I'll send the slides. He's like,
Well,
"Yeah,
and
Snooze you lose, baby.
I'll upload it to YouTube.
All right, we'll give him the slides. It has been said that trusts generally, not special now, generally, are generally divided into two main classes: private trusts and charitable trusts. Okay? A charitable trust, now notice they didn't define the private. They do things inside out, so you have to presume that everything that's outside of this one is inside the other. A charitable trust is one in which the beneficiary is a governmental entity, or in which the purpose of the trust is to implement public welfare or convenience. Public. Okay? The primary differences between a charitable trust and other, which is privately owned, other private trusts are that a charitable trust may be perpetual, which means ongoing forever. Don't fall asleep on me now. Perpetual. The denominated recipients of the trust income may be indefinite, okay, which means everybody can get their hands in the pot, and it's perpetual, it's ongoing forever until you stop it. And the intended beneficiary is the community itself, which is all the people that put their hands in the pot. It has also been said that the fundamental distinction between private trust and charitable trust is that in a private trust, property is devoted to the use of specified persons who are designated as the beneficiaries of the trust, while a charitable trust has as a beneficiary a definite class and indefinite beneficiaries within a definite class, and has a purpose which is beneficial to the community. So in other words, if I'm the intended beneficiary, the sole intended beneficiary of a private trust, my rights, okay, that's just for me and you can't touch it. But if I take my private information, my name, and give it to you at Starbucks, she enters it in, she runs my card, the whole name on that public piece is now on the card. He gave us his name. Very good, so now we have authorization. This is going to go up to corporate. Corporate's going to start doing investments on it, and it's going to start making money until someone claims it. It's going to claim it because they have a perpetual, indefinite beneficiaries, which are these guys. Okay, does that make sense?
Did you see that was for American jurisprudence?
This is from AMJUR.
First?
Yeah.
It says American law,
No, that's
ALR.
That's not, no, that's,
ALR, it says library at the top.
no, that's not a book.
Up further.
What'd you say?
So
Oh, this-
That's not the book that it's from, it's just.
This is from American jurisprudence,
law
and you
review.
know what?
It's American
Right,
law review,
right,
so it's
yeah,
American
okay.
jurisprudence. Do you know if it's first edition, second edition?
I'll be totally honest with you. These are all snapshots from my phone. I will do some digging and hunt out which books these are. I want to say it's the trust books, but there's like 2 or 3 of them.
Right, American jurisprudence.
Yeah, this is American
It
jurisprudence.
says right there under
No,
forms,
that's not it.
American
These are the
jurisprudence,
forms.
legal
Law
forms,
review.
These are the
trusts, section 251.
those are the forms.
from
So
a
they
previous
actually have.
section. That's from section.
Well, this is from a
3.
different book. The forms are a different book than the actual
Right, I know
PDF.
that, but that's from section 3, so that has nothing to do with section 4, that's how you read that.
General classifications. I mean, you can take.
That's okay, I'll find it.
You can
I have
take.
to read it.
Let's say, for instance, you want to take charitable trust is one in which the beneficiary is a government entity, quote unquote, and search it on Westlaw and then find the book and so on and so forth. I definitely should have done a better job with sourcing all of this stuff, and I apologize, but
No, that's okay.
you can hunt it down and find it. Do you guys understand this?
Yeah, that's great stuff.
We need your name, charity, like the clock. This is such as my charitable life. Okay? They're a charity. What is your name? I had a state trooper chase me down in court. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name? I was like, why are you? So you asking me or telling me? Because we had a judge tell a man. He said, yeah, because and we'll go over the who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know who's on third. And that's this game too. That's this whole entire game. Nobody's in the outfield. Okay? He says, what is your name? I'm like, I'm sorry? What is your name? I'm like, I'm sorry, one more time. What is your name? And I was like, why are you saying that? He says, oh, because someone left their credit card here in the court. I left my authentication. They called it a credit card. Full faith and credit, that's what it says on it. Okay? I've had them say some really wild stuff to me. So a good name, Proverbs 22, a good name is more desirable than great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. Favor is an equitable proceeding. You want to be in good favor with the judge. You want to be in good favor with the court. Psalms 148:13. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for his name alone is exalted. His splendor is above the earth and heavens. That's just the name. Public and private. Private rights and the power of private are in the withholding of the information. You have every right not to furnish your information, and your name is protected under the Fourth Amendment and the Privacy Act of 1974. The Privacy Act of 1974 is on the Department of Justice website, and they break the entire thing down. Hey, listen, we only govern by consent. So if you waive your right to privacy, that's when we come in and start governing. You don't have to be governed by us. And they also said if you're in a situation where you have already given your name, even if it's a different case, and you show up again, they can pull it from before and say, I remember your name, I know you. And they can do that. You can find ways to squiggle out of that, but Privacy Act of 1974, I got my certificate to change your name, and the registrar said to me, oh, okay, here's your document. You have, what'd she say? You now have the power to perform any act under your new name. I said, well, I'm going right for the act of God then. Who needs an earthquake? This includes your name, home, documents, automobile, children, property, right to travel freely, and to be paid if your private property is taken and used in the public without just compensation under the Fifth Amendment Takings Clause. If you wanted to, go forward and subrogate. Hold on a second. You guys took my name. You converted it into this fake lease here without paying me. You're supposed to pay me up front. We were talking about when we do driving and so on and so forth to have invoices in the car. You just pulled me over. You just took my time. You just took my property for public use. You're using it. You're sitting here wasting my time. Here's an invoice, $5,000. You give it to your sergeant.